1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1.
You transposed the movie over to Berlin. It's set in Berlin. Why did you go to Berlin? And maybe you can tell us a little bit about some of the locations that you used, because they were very eerie in themselves.
Well, Dario's film was out in '77, the year in which in Europe we had in different countries a second wave of youth revolts, much darker than '68, much more violent, with some sort of kind of desperation and rage that needed to be spurting out. And one of the great movements that came out then was the wave of feminism that was storming Europe then. And it is telling of probably the unconscious of Dario that he made a story about witches with the innocent American that comes and destroy them in that year. And with David Kajanek, we felt we had the possibility here to, encompassing the year 1977, to be able to go a little bit in a different direction, where you could really deal with the power of femininity, the, let's say, unreconciled element of a community of women that are bound to a sort of solidarity, but at the same time they are fighting with one another for power, and they are exerting a very evil power.
The look of this movie it's stunning. The production designer did a tremendous job. You told me about some of the influences previously, some of the artists and some of the music you were thinking about. Maybe you can just tell us a little bit about the visuals in this movie.
The aim with Imbal Weinberg, the incredible production designer of this movie, Sayum Bu Mukti Prom, the cinematographer, Giulia Piersanti, the costume designer, was really to be able to create a sort of feverish dream of that year and that place, but by being very bound to the elements of the reality and then transfigure them. So we looked a lot in many different directions. We looked at cinema, like Fassbinder. We looked at beautiful reportage pictures, and we looked at painting, and the melting of these elements made the movie look what it is.
And your actors, obviously, you had a great cast. You obviously worked with Tilda a number of times. You worked with Dakota as well. Tell us about that dancing process for them. How did they inhabit those dancers?
Dakota started to do real training back in New York when she was actually before shooting the last chapter of 50 Shades. And then when we hired the great Damien Jallet, the choreographer, she started to work with someone from his team. And then when everybody gathered in Varese a month before, that became all the people you see apart from Dakota and Mia Goth, all the other women, young women, are all real dancers who are acting for the first time. Like, I don't know if somebody saw the movie, but in the movie we have this great character played called Olga, who ends up having a very difficult moment. And she's played by this astonishing dancer called Jelena Fokina, who is really, in her own merit, one of the greatest dancers in Europe, but she acted for the first time here. And I'm very proud because she was beautiful in this.